And I'm really happy to see that so many of you have turned up today after your offices, after your work. And also, I have many people who have enrolled for the course since a long period of time, about 2 months. And then we also have some people who just enrolled about 2-3 days back. So I welcome each and every one of you. How's everybody today? And if you'll remember the last time around, when I was doing the session, when we did the sales training, I had that bandage all over my head, but today it's good. And yeah, I'm liking this particular look much more than the other one. I'm doing really well, Ravi Chandra. Thank you so much. So Apnil, I'm really happy because you are one person whom I see in every session. You take initiatives. You would also send a mail when you were not able to find that ebook. I genuinely appreciate it. And there are also some other people who do attend the sessions on a regular basis. We have Sunny, we have Jagdish, we have Sangeeta. We also have Alok. Alok must be joining in some moments or so. All right. Let me ask you a question before we move on to the next topic today. How many of you have already started implementing upon things that were told to you earlier? How many of you have already started implementing the things? Okay. Sunny says me. What about the others? How many of you have already started implementing all those things? Okay, Ravi Chandra says me. How? How? Sunny, can you tell me how? Ravi Chandra, can you tell me how? Dipanshi, good. How? Please tell me. I'm really happy to see that people are implementing because see, the important thing is that you got to implement each and everything that I tell you. Unless and until you implement those things, it is not going to work, right? Whatever I tell you, it is very important. Like yesterday, there was a person who had enrolled and he was so much after me to talk. So I had a word with him over the phone yesterday. And right now I cannot find him here. I won't take the name, obviously. But all the time, what I had to do was just to motivate him. I told him at the end that, see, the motivation has to come from within. How many of you agree to this, that the motivation should come from within? Give me a yes. Hello, Hemendra ji. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so Jagdish says that he's enrolled as a volunteer to teach in government schools. Nice. And I'm so happy that most of you are putting in efforts. Hi, Sameer. Welcome. So see, the important thing is that you got to implement whatever is being told to you. Unless and until you implement things, like if you people would have seen the sales mastery training, or if you would have seen the social media mastery training, you know, the one thing that you could have done is, after this session today, just go and check my Instagram page. See the things that I'm doing on my Instagram page and how that is going to help me build a page, a wonderful community. Also, I have to share one more wonderful news with you, and that is tomorrow I am doing a webinar for 1,000 students of KIIT University. Their placements are really, really near, so I'd be helping them with the placements. Really good, right? Technology helps us so much. So I welcome so many new members who have joined us today for the first time as well. Good. And the best part is that all your doubts, all your queries, whatever you will have on your mind, we'll be taking care of all of them at the end of the session, just like we always do. This is your moment to talk to me live, one-to-one, whatever doubts, whatever queries, whatever things you have already implemented, so that I get to know what improvements you are doing, how the progress is happening for your side, on your end. And the most important thing is that you get to interact with others as well, because some of the questions would be worth sharing with everybody. So we'll interact with them as well. Okay. So should we move ahead with today's session? Should we start, people? Give me a yes. You know that it is your energy that keeps me going, right? Okay. I'm also wearing a formal shirt today. Cool. So today we'll talk about 20 unique ways how to begin your presentation, session, or meeting. Now, all these ways will work irrespective of whether you are doing a one-to-one session or you are doing a one-to-many session. Primarily a one-to-many sessions. How many of you are required to do a one-to-many sessions during your work? Maybe to your students, maybe to your colleagues, maybe to people whom you don't are referring or interacting for the first time. How many of you have to do it on a regular basis? Okay. What about the others? Okay, so there are a lot of people who have to interact with the people. Okay, not on a regular basis, someone says. But at the end of the day, you do understand that the way you start with your session, the way you begin your session is very important. Like today, I know that all of you who have come here today are a part of my inner circle, are a part of my team. So obviously we started on a friendly note. We started discussing about things that are happening in your life. However, if I'll go and if I'll interact with unknown people, this is also a good way to start. I won't say it is not. I would have included this in the session as well, in the 20 points that I have as well. But there are other ways how you can draw the attention of the audience right in the beginning itself. Okay? All right. So, just like always, I have a humble request. Please ask all your questions at the end of the presentation so that the flow is not disrupted, so that all the points that I tell you are come to you in a one-by-one manner, in a sequential manner. And by the end of the presentation, most of the doubts or the questions that you will have on your mind will be taken care of. Second thing is make notes, because when you make notes, you tend to keep it with you forever. However, you also get the recording of the live training, so it helps you, right? Then stay till the end because I have a lot in store for you. Maybe I'll have 1 or 2 extra points than I promised. And some people who are attending today's session for the first time, although you have enrolled for the course, you might still be having doubts about how much value is going to be given to you, whether whatever I tell you in the online session will be promised, I will be given to you or not. So this is a little bit of my profile, what I have done in my life, and 50 speeches, MTV show, and then I'm also helping out students with their placements. Now, I believe that the way you start your session is extremely important. And that is because you have to draw the attention of the audience in the beginning itself. Majority of the speakers, what they do is they start with the same old-fashioned good morning, good afternoon with the people, which is obviously not going to create that kind of an impact. Now imagine if you are supposed to speak where there are about 10 to 15 speakers, then how you keep yourself away from others, how you keep yourself different from others is going to create a lot of impact. How many of you agree to this? Give me a yes, people. Give me a yes. Okay. Good. I can see you people are also getting charged up. Awesome. Let's move ahead. Now, the first thing that you can do is when you're starting with your session is start with an anecdote or a story. When everyone else would come and say, good morning, I'm Rahul Bhatnagar. I've been doing this since the past so many years and I'll be speaking upon this topic and I feel really humbled that you have provided me with the time. Believe me, deep inside, even you do not feel humble when you're saying that, and the audience does not feel humble or good at all. Right? So what we have to do is start with an anecdote or a story. Since our childhood, all of us have been fascinated by stories. We have loved stories, right? We had bedtime stories, then we had stories in our curriculum, then we had our granny who was telling us stories. So starting with an anecdote or a story can be really fruitful for you. What you have to do is somehow think of a factor, how the story that you're telling the people would relate to the content that you have to speak upon next. Getting my point? For example, you have to speak upon the importance of technology. What you would say is, 2.5 years back when I was traveling in that train, and this is all that I'm making up right now for you people, okay? So that you realize that spontaneity is really important. So you will say 2.5 years back or 2 months back while I was traveling in the train, I realized that there were a group of 30 people and none of them were looking at each other. Everybody was just concentrating on their phone. And I realized that though they were traveling together, though they were for a group outing, but still none of them were concentrating on each other. I have seen similar experiences happening when I go to restaurants. And that is why I genuinely feel that because of technology, in a way, though we are coming closer to people, but yes, technology is also taking us away from the people. That is one way how you can start with the story, okay? Now, if you people can just, I'm giving you an opportunity, if you people can just throw me some topics on which you want to speak and I'll make a story based upon that right away, okay? Sounds cool. Throw some challenges, okay? And send some and give me some difficult topics. Self-confidence is easy. Something tough, something really tough. I don't think so. English grammar also. Think. You are an intelligent audience. I know that. Okay, so we'll take this topic. The topic that has come is leadership transformation. Okay, so I got to speak upon a topic which is leadership transformation. Now, if I immediately go onto the stage and I start speaking upon how a leader can transform his or her team, things are not going to work in my favor. People will not like it. What I would say is, around 2 years back, I was a leader who did not take the opinion of his team members. And because of that, many a times it happened that my team members did not actually want to do things that I wanted to do, but they had to do it only because they were under my pressure. They were under the fact that Rahul Bhatnagar has told them to do it. And we were not able to create that kind of an impact when they were working. Gradually, I started working upon this. And what I tend to now do is I call all of them. We speak upon a common topic. I ask for their opinion, but somehow I know what is the work that I want them to do. So despite the fact that I ask them for their opinion, I still somehow convince them to do what is going to be right for the organization. Because as a leader, it is my duty to ensure that what we tend to do should be meaningful for the organization. Now, I ask you this question today. How are you proving yourself to be an able leader? And then you make the house open, and then everybody would throw their suggestions towards you. Okay, so this is one wonderful way of starting your story. Now, Amay says that we can start upon fitness as well. Fitness is something that I've really worked upon. Though right now my eating habits have gone haywire, and I was having these biscuits and everything because I was not able to have my lunch. I was sitting here working in the office. So on fitness, I would say that India is a country. We could also say a statistic. That is also one more way coming up. So I could say that during my childhood, I realized that there were so many people around me who were carrying extra weight. They were going and they were reaching out to doctors. They were spending a lot of money on doctors. They were not living a happy life. Because of that, most of the times they used to be angry. They used to shout at us children when we used to play in the garden. And then we realized that most of it was because of the fact that they were not happy with their own bodies. That is why it is really important for us, not because of our appearance, but because it gives us inner happiness. So you understand how starting with a story will automatically draw the attention of your audience. How many of you understand this? Give me a yes, so that we can move ahead to the second way of how we can start with our session. Give me a yes, people. Okay. Cool. Let's move on to the next. The second thing is you can start with a quotation. Starting with the quotation is going to be really powerful. Now, believe me, supposedly, if I have been given a topic, okay, someone gave me a topic right now. Someone said spirituality, okay? So I would start with the quotation pertaining to spirituality, and I would say, every morning when I get up, I feel a deep sense of gratitude because it is only because of God that I am able to live another day. So if I remember these quotations, you can also make your own quotations. It's absolutely easy. But if you can remember certain quotations and you start with the quotation, two benefits, okay? First, people will feel that Amay, Hemendra, Sangeeta, Jagdish, Sunny, Dipanshi, Ravichandra, Ravindra, and Swapnanil, and so many of you who are here are amazing speakers, okay? They remember so many quotations. They're so intelligent. And again, it is going to be really different than starting with a good morning or a good afternoon. So to do this, obviously, what you will have to do is you will have to remember a lot of quotes. And it's easy. There are so many diaries that you get which have quotations. You can download the quotations from the internet. You can have a specific workbook with you where you can have a lot of quotations. So when you remember all these quotations and you work with all these quotations and you start with your journey, you are going to create a much greater impact compared to just starting with a normal message or a normal session. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the third point. This is really important. And if you people would have realized this, this is what I do on a regular basis. How many of you have realized that I compliment my audience on a regular basis? Even if you would have seen my videos, or if you have attended these sessions, or if you have attended just one session, have you realized that I do this? It's extremely important because when you compliment your audience, people feel good. How many of you would like to feel good? Everybody, right? So if we would like to feel good, we have to keep ourselves in the minds of the audience, in the soul of the audience. People say, keep yourself in the shoe of the audience. I say, keep yourself in the soul of the audience. So that you do things that are going to be primarily important and also relate with what your audience wants. So it is really important to compliment your audience. When you go onto the stage and you can say, wow, I'm seeing such an amazing audience, such an intelligent group of people. Let's have a large round of applause for each and every one of you. And then when everybody appreciates and when everybody applauds, they'll be appreciating for themselves. And they'll feel, okay, he is our man, she is our guy, she's our girl, because they'll realize that, okay, this person has come here with the intent of providing us value. Right? Okay. And then the second thing is, everybody is going through some of the difficult phases in their lives. So when you go there and when you start with in this manner, automatically you create such a wonderful impact and people tend to feel good, because we might say that the decision making starts from the heart, happens from the heart, but eventually the decision making starts from here, from your mind. So that is why it is really important to connect with the minds of the audience. If their minds are somewhere away, you got to ensure that their minds are with you now. Okay, let's move on to the fourth point. What you can also do is you can give reference to some data. You can get reference to some data which has probably come out somewhere recently or something that has been in existence. For example, how many of you understand the 80-20 principle? How many of you understand the 80-20 principle? You do, right? Some of you. Okay. Some of you might not be knowing the 80-20 principle, which is also known as the Pareto cycle. So in this case, Hemendra, it's a little different. In this case, what you can do is when you will go, you will say, out of what I'm going to tell you, only 20% of you are going to keep it in your mind. And 20% of that 20% is going to actually implement, which means that only 4% of you are going to implement what I'm going to tell you. And today I am here to talk to just those 4%. Now, everybody who has even come there with the intention of not listening to you or who has been forced to sit over there, even that person will feel, no, I also want to be amongst these 4%. He would also say, no, I also want to create an impact. That is why I have come here. And when you say to people, when you deprive people of something, when you say to others that, okay, you have come here, but you'll be wasting your time if you won't implement, because only 4% of the people would be doing it. And you would also say that I would be happy if only 4% people implement things, because that is the best possible scenario. Then people would realize, oh, we should also implement what is being told to us. So this is also another intelligent way of starting with your session, when you give reference to some data or some statistics. Okay. All right. So people should move on to the next slide. Give me a yes. All right. Good. Now you can share facts with people. You can share a lot of facts with people. For example, let's suppose our topic is fitness again. What you would say is India is the third diabetic country of the world. And in the meanwhile, while I'm typing this, give me another situation, okay? Give me another topic so that we can think about a fact that we can give to people. I'm also testing my knowledge along with this. You can say that India is the third diabetic country in the world. And that is why it is extremely important for us to work upon our fitness. So this is one thing that you can do. Amay says economics. I'm really bad at economics. So we can probably say that 70% of the people are bad at economics. Okay, Ravindra says depression. This is a topic which is really important, because nowadays we have a lot of people who have actually even given up on their lives because of depression. So we can start with this. And also note, when the topic depression came, the way I speak, it automatically changed, right? How many of you noticed that? It's really important that you have to notice it. See, you would say that if we have any problem on our mind, majority of us will not go and talk to the doctor because we feel that it is something wrong. Whereas it is said that 1 out of 8 people in India are supposed to be having some sort of mind-related illness, but still we don't go to the doctor. And that is why a lot of people are suffering with this problem, which is depression. And depression is common. It is just like any physical ailment like you would have. I had an ailment, right? I had an injury on my head. So I went to the doctor to take care of it. Similarly, you got to work upon yourself in a similar manner when you are suffering with something like depression. Okay, so you realize how we started with a fact. So starting with the fact will also draw the attention of the audience. It should be very example. Hemendra says that data should be near to fact. Obviously, if you are sharing a data or if you are sharing a fact, both those things you should be really particular about. And that is why I'm giving you 20 ways. If supposedly you get a topic where you know, okay, I don't know the data or I don't know the fact, then you would not start with the data or a fact. Don't make up that fact or the data over there, especially when you are being recorded, just like I am right now. Okay, when I do this session, never start with that. Okay, unless and until you are very particular about the data that you are about to share with people. Now, the next thing that you can do is you can make them do an activity. You can make your audience do an activity. How many of you feel that making your audience do an activity is one of the most powerful ways of starting with your speech or your session? How many of you feel so? Give me a yes. Nice. And also suggest me certain ways how you can start. Suggest me certain ways. What kind of an activity can we make people do? What is on your mind? What do you think? Icebreakers, start with the questions, riddles. Think. Okay, Jagdish has a very valid point where he says that every 15 minutes, the attention span decreases. Might be the case. Think. Dance. Okay, we can see. What I tend to do is two things. I say that stand up and give a massage to the person who's on your right side, and then I tell them to give the massage to the person who's on your left side. Okay. Ravichandra says that we can start with a group activity. Clapping. Okay, clapping is also there. You know, you got to make people do things, because at the end of it, most of the people who are sitting over there are like lousy, without any energy. If you go onto the stage, I ensure that when I go to the stage, I ensure that everybody just starts and gives it his or her all. If I don't have that kind of energy coming out from my body, if I don't have that kind of energy oozing out from my body, believe me, I will not be able to produce those kind of results. So you can only make, Dipanshi also had a very valid point, riddles. It is valid. And again, whatever activity you have to do right now, your activity would also depend upon the kind of audience that you are actually interacting with. For example, you cannot, if you're interacting with a group of intellectuals, you cannot ask them to dance. Maybe a massage, yes. Maybe you can give them a riddle. Maybe you can give them, distribute A4 sheets and make them do certain activity. This is something that you can make them do. But the important thing is that you have to draw the attention of the audience. So your kind of audience is really, really important. You get my point? But this is a very powerful way, because what I have realized is that most of the people are laid back, not just while attending a session, but most of the people are laid back in various things. People are laid back in whatever they do in life. How many of you agree to this, that there are so many people who are laid back in almost everything that they do? Give me a yes. And you have the people who don't say yes right now will probably be the ones who are laid back even today. So type in a yes. Good. So it's really important for you to ensure that whosoever you are interacting with has that same kind of energy. Okay. All right. So before we move on to the next slide, let me just do a recap so that you people remember. I believe that starting the session or your speech is very important to draw the attention of the audience. The first way how you can start with your audience, with your session, is start with an anecdote or a small story, narrate a story. The second thing how you can start with your session is have a powerful quotation. And you have to learn a lot of quotations so that your quotation can be in sync with the topic that you have to speak upon next. Then compliment your audience. Your audience will feel really happy, elated, and would automatically be connected with you if you will start with complimenting your audience. Give reference to a date. When you give reference to a date, it is really important, because when you give a reference to a date, people would remember it. Okay. Next is facts. Give facts to people, because when you give facts to people, then people tend to realize, okay, this really happens in life. So it is really important. Make them do an activity. Because when you make them do an activity, they'll remember that activity and they'll get connected to it. Okay? All right. Should we move on to the next slide, people? Give me a yes. Give me a yes and we'll move on to the next slide. All right. Amazing. Now I can see the energy of the people. Okay, let me ask you a question, okay? How many of you are happy with my intensity, or should I raise it even further? Something that you really appreciate. What do you want? All that my audience wants, all that you people want. Okay, people say fine. People say fine. Okay. All right, this is fine. Good. Ame says you can raise, huh? Okay. The next thing that you can do is ask a question. Ask a question with your audience, okay? Immediately when you go onto the stage, ask a question. Because when you ask a question to your audience, automatically you face and you ensure that your audience starts thinking. Your audience will start thinking, okay, and everybody, okay, Rohitash says you're activating audience with yes, right? Fair enough. So ask your question with the people, okay? Because when you ask a question to people, the audience will also be as engaged in your session as you are. Now think, if I do this session of mine and if I don't ask you people questions, if I don't make you do things, it will turn out to be a very dull session. You agree to that, right? I don't want this to be a dull session. I want this to be a really meaningful session. And this would turn out to be really meaningful only under one circumstance. And that is when I keep asking you to do things. You get onto the stage, ask your audience a question. And when you ask the audience a question, then things will work. Okay, another task for you people. Now throw at me some random topic and I'll suggest you what kind of question you should ask to your audience. For example, if I do an entrepreneurial session, I move on to the stage, I ask first question, how many of you want to be entrepreneurs? Raise your hands. So people raise their hands, okay? The second question that I ask them is, why do you want to become an entrepreneur? Give me your answers. And then randomly I pick up people. So when I randomly pick up people, what happens is, first, the audience is engaged. Second, the audience is, okay, I might get the turn. So they're always on their toes. And they're also thinking at the same time. All right. So now you throw at me certain scenarios, certain topic, and I tell you what kind of a question can we ask to the audience. And do it really quickly, right? You're an intelligent audience. Absolutely. I feel something, by the time we do all 24 sessions, this is 24 sessions. This is the 4th session. By the time we do 24 sessions, I believe I would have imparted to you everything that I have in me. And the best part would be if you can just implement all those things. Believe me, there's going to be such a massive transformation that is going to come in your life. When you implement the self-belief, the sales training, the social media mastery training, the ways to start your session or the next session, it is going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so Ravindra says public speaker, Amey says life. Ravindra's topic we have not taken yet, so we'll take Ravindra's topic. He says public speaker. So if you go onto the stage, you ask a question. How many of you feel that public speakers get a lot of attention, recognition, and tend to make a lot of money? How many of you agree with that? So people would say, okay, I would say people would agree to that. We also have a football fan in with Shrikesh here, I believe. So then I would ask this question to people, okay? So when I would ask this question to people, people would start to think whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. And one more thing which I have to say is, ask people, there are 2 choices that you have. One, you can give them an open-ended question. How many of you understand what an open-ended question is? How many of you understand what an open-ended question is? An open-ended question is that when you ask a question, you give them a scenario and you give them an opportunity to speak upon yes or no, or you give them opportunity to speak for a longer period of time. The second thing is that you ask them a question where the answer is only going to be in an affirmation. The answer is only going to be yes. Like when I ask you the questions, I know that the answer is going to be yes. Okay. So it's really important for you to understand the kind of question that you have to ask your audience. Don't ask an open-ended question. What is your opinion on this? And give the opportunity to people. And 5 people stand up and they start speaking and your entire time is gone. So you got to ask primarily, in majority of the cases, ask questions based upon affirmation, where people have to answer in a yes. because then they'll realize that both the speaker as well as them are at the same page. Now, something which is not how you will start your speech, or maybe yes, I also have that as a topic next. I'll ask you a question then also, okay? Let me see how your minds are working. People, should we move on to the next slide? Give me a yes. Give me a yes. Okay. All right. This is also a very important manner how you can start with your session. Believe me, just a fraction of people would be doing it. Go onto the stage. When you go onto the stage, what will happen? People will start looking at the phone when the speakers would be changed. Some others would be looking here and there. Their attention would not be there. They would be expecting that once you'll come onto the stage, you'll start speaking. But what you do is you just go onto the stage, fold your hands, look to the audience on the left, in the center, and on the right. Do it for around 5, 10, maybe even 15 seconds. What do you think will happen if you'll give a 10 to 15 seconds pause when you're on the stage? Think and let me know. What do you think is going to happen when you'll give a 10 to 15 second pause? They will stare at us. Audience will become silent. Audience, people think we are dumb. Audience will look at you. And what else? Also, because there are certain people who have come here for the first time, whatever answers you give me are only read by me, okay? No one else reads your answers. So if you think that you're going to tell an answer which is not good, no problem. Tell the answers, whatever is on your mind, okay? Good. Their curiosity will increase, okay? And audience will understand, audience will get concentrated, okay? Audience will mental preparation of the speech, pull audience attention. Great. So all of you understand that we would be pulling the attention of the audience, just like she says. So it's really important for you to understand that when you go onto the stage, when everybody would assume that you're going to just start speaking like all the other speakers, you do exactly the opposite. You're surprising your audience. You go there and what you do is you give a long pause. When you give a long pause, people will think, okay, what is going to come next? And everybody will think as to what is going to come next, and everybody is going to concentrate upon you. That is the person who's on the stage. This is also a very powerful way how you can start with your session. Okay. The next thing that you can do is start with a prop. Start with a prop. How many of you understand what a prop is? How many of you understand what a prop is? Prop is a thing. Okay, I'll tell you what a prop is if you people are not aware about it. Okay, prop is something that you would be taking along with you. Okay, for example, I start with my session with a water bottle. I go onto the stage. This is amazing, right? This just came in my mind. What I'll do is you'll just go onto the stage. You'll have a bottle of water, and your topic is, let's take the topic as well. Your topic is water conservation. Just a sec. Your topic is water conservation. You'll go onto the stage, you'll open a bottle of water, you'll try drinking the water, but the water bottle would be empty. So what you would say is, imagine what is going to happen if one day all the clean drinking water that is available on this planet just vanishes. Then you give a pause. Then people will automatically relate with it. And you have started in such a powerful manner. That is how you start with a prop. Supposedly you are speaking upon the life of a joker. You can get dressed up like a joker. Or you are speaking about the, let's say, fitness. You would say, okay, this packet of biscuit which we eat, Parle G, has 400 calories. What we eat is actually what we become. So you start with the prop, and your prop should be in accordance with your topic. So starting with the prop is also going to be really powerful. What we tend to do at Toastmasters is we start with the same prop and we finish with the prop. For example, now imagine this, okay? I start with the prop where I have an empty water bottle. And then at the end, I end my speech with the water bottle which has water. And I say, now that you have realized the importance of water, go and preserve water, because this is the most powerful thing that we require for our existence, the most powerful element. Imagine the impact that you're going to create on the minds of the people when you're starting with the same prop and you are ending with the same prop, but with on a positive note. So you have worked from the negative aspect to a positive aspect. Imagine the kind of impact that you're going to create upon the minds of the audience. All right, people, should we move on to the next slide? Give me a yes. And I hope we are just 35 minutes into the session that I've been able to give you some value. There is a lot of more value which is coming your way. Okay, just don't lie there on your bed and look at the session like this. Okay, give me your energy, right? Your energy is absolutely essential. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The next thing that you can do is speak about yourself. Now I am making the house open. When I say speak about yourself, what do you think? This is really important, okay? This is really important, whatever profession you might be in. What do you think? That when you speak upon yourself, should you speak only positive things about yourself, or you should also talk about your weaknesses? What do you think? I'm waiting for your answers. Should you only speak about the positive things or the weaknesses? So I can see that majority, okay, someone says strengths. Majority of the people say both. Why? Why should I speak about both? Why should I speak about both? See, I'll tell you how it is going to work. The important thing here is, okay, Shikesh also has a valid point. Understand, how many of you understand that there is obviously going to be a purpose? Whatever speech you might be giving, whatever talk you might be doing, whether it is one-to-one or it is one-to-many, whatever it might be, there would be a purpose of that session, okay? There is going to be a purpose of that session. How many of you agree? Everybody agrees to this, right? That there is going to be a purpose. So if you will have a purpose, what is going to happen in this case is, if you want others to fulfill that purpose, they will not at all do it unless they are able to relate with you. If you remember, when I do my sessions, I do it with utmost honesty. I tell you about the troubles that I faced in my life. I tell you that I was just like you, and that it is absolutely possible for you to bring about that change in yourself. I wanted to motivate you. I wanted to take that action. You would have never taken that action unless and until you would have identified with me. Unless and until you would have realized that, okay, this person is just like us. Unless and until I would have done that, you would have never done it. You understand that? That is why it is so very essential that you speak with honesty and you tell people about your negative aspects as well, and you tell people about your weaknesses itself. A lot of speakers, a lot of polished speakers tend to not speak about their weaknesses, thinking about that they have an aura about themselves and that aura will get broken. But that is not the case. That does not happen. You have to relate with the audience if you want that purpose to be solved. You're getting this point? How many of you understand this? Give me a yes, people. Because it's really important for you to understand this. Okay? And you will be only able to understand this if you realize that, yes, sharing your weakness is also equally important. Okay? Should we move on to the next slide now? You can tell people about a latest news. But again, this latest news should also be in sync with the topic. This should be in sync with the topic. It is really important that this topic that the latest news is in sync with the topic. For example, on 21st of June, I believe it is Yoga Day. And you have to go and speak on the topic, which is Yoga Day. So what you would do is, you would speak upon the importance of yoga, or you would say that recently in the news I saw, and I would say this, that in Dehradun, which happens to be my hometown, person who's going over there is our Prime Minister, our respected Prime Minister, who's going there on the occasion of Yoga Day in order to do an activity over there where about 50,000 people are coming. Imagine the kind of impact yoga can do upon our lives, and it can bring about a positive change in the way we feel about ourselves, in the way we look at ourselves, in the way we feel our energy. When you will do things like this, when you'll start with the current news affair, people would have read it somewhere or the other. Either they would have seen it on TV, or they would have read it in the newspaper, or maybe in a mobile application. Somewhere or the other, they would have read about it. So it is going to be really helpful for you to connect with the audience again. You understand this, right? That the various ways that we are using, I am giving you 20 ways. You have to select the one that you feel you're going to be really amazing with, and which is also going to be really apt as per the situation. Okay. All right. The next thing is, and this I have also done, is make your audience visualize or make your audience imagine something. Now, let's suppose, okay, people, very quickly, give me another topic. Okay, give me another topic very quickly. In the meanwhile, by the time you'll give me the topic, let's focus upon this topic as well, with the topic that we have been focusing upon, which is fitness. I would go onto the stage and I would say to everyone, close your eyes and imagine how wonderful you would be if you are at your peak level of fitness. You would be able to devote more time. You would be able to devote more energy to your work. You would be able to last longer than your competitors. You will look good. You will feel good. You will be setting a trend for others in your office. You will come across as a role model because majority of the people don't tend to pay attention to themselves. Imagine when you will be fit, what all kind of things you will be able to do, which you are not doing right now, only because of one reason. And that reason is fitness. Imagine the kind of impact that you'll create. Okay. Shrikesh says that the topic is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Now, maybe you'll be speaking upon the positive aspect or you will be speaking upon the negative aspect. In this scenario, let's talk about the positive aspect of artificial intelligence. Okay. What we would say is, you go there and you tell people, imagine if 10 years from now, whatever work is being done right now pertaining to data or pertaining to homeworks or pertaining to the college work or pertaining to teaching would be done through artificial intelligence. People who are living in smaller villages would also be having access to this. People who have always said that we have always been deprived of opportunities, they would be given so many opportunities if artificial intelligence has been given the kind of opportunities to grow. Something like that, okay? Second topic that someone has given is, okay, obsession. Okay, imagine if you focus upon what really you are obsessed upon and you devote 14 to 16 hours on a daily basis to your obsession. Imagine the kind of success that you would get. If I am obsessed about public speaking, imagine if I am able to devote 14 to 16 hours preparing for my content, delivering my speeches, reaching out to the right people, hosting my sessions, talking to people. If I am so obsessed with my work, can I ever fail? Now I ask you people, what is your obsession? And are you ready to give 14 to 16 hours to your work? Imagine the kind of success that you would get if you are ready to give so much of time, devotion, energy, and focus upon your work. And you are going to grow. That is why it is really important for you to make your audience visualize or imagine something. You get this? Okay, how many of you want me to just do a recap before we move on to the next slide? I know that this is a lot of content coming your way, and that is why I tell people to watch my sessions, because see, you get access to all these live trainings for a lifetime, right? So just go back and just go through the session one more time. You know, I can give you a lot of value, but for you to implement that value, that is the reason why we are also giving you the recorded access to the sessions, so that you can just go look at that session, make those notes at the same time and implement them again, okay? So I'll just do a recap for it very quickly. You can start with an anecdote or a story when you're starting your session, and a story which a lot of people might relate to because we have often been listening to stories since our childhood. The second thing that you can do is start with a quotation. When you're talking to people, a powerful quotation will automatically create a humongous impact on the mind of your listeners. Compliment your audience. Tell them about the amazing audience that they are, and imagine the kind of change that they would feel once they get that energy from within. Give reference to a date. For example, you are giving a speech on the 27th of May. You can say, okay, on exactly the 27th of May, I was born. Or on exactly 27th of May, the past Prime Minister of ours was born. Something like that. Obviously, it has to be true. So you can give that kind of date reference. Then you can share facts. You can share about the Pareto cycle. You can share about the fact that this has a lot of calories. You can share about the importance of water. You can share the fact that India is the third most diabetic country in the world. Depending upon your topic, you can also start with a fact. You can make your audience do an activity, maybe a massage to each other, maybe clapping at the top, or maybe giving them a paper and make them do something, make them write something. If it is a young audience, probably make them dance. Whatever you might feel would get their adrenaline going and their energy going. Ask a question to your audience. Ask a question to your audience and then randomly pick up people to answer your question. Ensure that you ask questions whose answers are either one word or very short. And if you find someone who's actually speaking a lot, tell him or her to sit down very politely, because you also have to give opportunities to others, and then you also have to continue with your session. Start with a long pause. When you start with a long pause, a 10-second or a 15-second pause, the audience would be stunned. Everybody would be like, why is Rahul standing on the stage? Why is he not speaking? Has he forgotten what he wants to speak? But you are there looking at your audience like a lion, waiting for your opportunities, and then you are starting. Okay? Then start with a prop. A prop would be something like a water bottle, something like a hat, or maybe you're wearing two coats, or maybe you've started with the sunglasses, or maybe you're carrying a cup with you. You're starting with something or the other. So start with a prop to grab the attention of the audience. Again, whatever way you might be starting your session with, it has to be in sync with the topic. Speak about yourself, and just don't speak about the positive aspects. Speak upon your negative aspects as well, because people want to relate with you. People want to feel, okay, the person who's speaking on the stage is just like us. So it is very important that you speak about yourself as well. Share about a latest news, something which has happened very recently and which is also related to your speech, because people would have read it somewhere or the other. So immediately that recall would come. The next thing that you can make your audience do is visualize. Make them visualize something. Make them imagine something pertaining to the audience, and the audience will be yours. You know, when you start with all these things, believe me, your audience would be owned by you. Within the first 15, 20 seconds, or maybe within 1 minute, your audience would be absolutely enthralled by what you have done. All right. Should we move on to the next slide, people? Give me a yes. Give me a yes. Okay. Fair enough. This is also one more wonderful way of starting your speech. Start with a joke. Simple. And do ensure that everybody laughs at your joke. But if everybody does not laugh at your joke, say, oh, okay, this did not go according to plan. This has happened with me a lot of time, by the way. But it's okay. I laughed at it. So I assume that you people would also. If people would not laugh at your joke, at least they would laugh at this when you say this. Okay. So it's really important to start on a jovial note. Starting on a jovial note is important. However, we need to ensure one thing, that you are not cracking a joke which is political or religious in nature, because you never know the mindset of the audience. You never know. And nowadays, politics has gone on to such an extent that people are ready to fight upon politics as well as religion. So ensure that your topic or your joke would not be focusing upon politics or religion. You should come up with a clean joke that everybody would relate to pertaining to the topic, and then you'll be good to go. So it's really important that you start with a joke as well. Again, I am giving you a lot of opportunities. I am giving you a lot of options. It exactly depends upon you as to how you want to start with your session. Okay. Next, share a statistic with people. Share a statistic with people. Now, when you share a statistic with people, people again would realize that, yeah, first thing that people would realize is that, wow, we have an intelligent speaker who has come here. And you would again ensure that your audience will think. And when you will ensure that your audience will think, again, you are getting into the minds of your audience. So starting with a statistic is really important. For example, your topic is population. Or again, I give you the opportunity, give me a topic. Supposedly, your topic is population. And you would say that with the rising population in India, it is assumed that about 23% of people in India will not have access to clean drinking water, will not have the right kind of opportunities. If you are speaking upon engineering as a career, okay, again, Ravindra also said the same topic. In fact, let's combine both of them, engineering and unemployment. We would say that we are producing engineers just like anything because of so many private colleges that are come our way. And it is assumed that 78% of all our engineers, are not going to find a good job. And 50% of them will not get any job. And still, parents are throwing their children to do engineering. This is something that has to change. Now, Samir has given the topic digital marketing, and this is my favorite topic. Okay, we do digital marketing. So I would say that with digital marketing, most of the things are absolutely taken care of by technology. For example, for me, I just have one sales employee in my entire team, okay? And that sales employee is who makes videos is me. And the marketing is done only by Facebook. Facebook does all the marketing with me. And imagine what another thing that you can do is you go onto the stage and you say, what if I give you an employee which will never ask for a leave, which would work 24/7, which would always speak the truth to you, which is always going to give you the accurate results all the time, which will never have any downtime. How many of you would want to have such an employee? People would say yes, right? And then you share to them that my employee is Facebook. And then automatically people would realize, wow, this is working. You get it? That is why it is really important. One thing is you go onto the stage and you're like, hello, everybody. I am Samir. I have come here to speak upon the topic digital marketing. I am Rahul. I've come here to speak on the topic digital marketing. Nobody's going to understand that. Nobody's going to like it, right? Understand that. The second way how you can do is just go onto the stage, speak upon the fact about Facebook and speak about digital marketing, how you are using digital marketing, how companies are using digital marketing. Give them a statistic. And when you give them a statistic, then you start with your actual presentation. All right, people, should we move on to the next slide? Give me a yes. Give me a yes. And in the meanwhile, I'll also have some water. All right. The next thing that you can do is start with a thank you note to the organizers. I mean, this is, I would say, keep this at your 19th or the 20th option. But yes, at times it is really important to thank the audience. To thank the audience will obviously be thanking, to thank the organizers, because maybe you have gone and you've been invited to a very important topic or a very important meeting. And you probably had no idea that you would be invited to speak at such a wonderful platform. If something like that happens, you have to ensure, you really have to ensure that you talk to the audience and you help them. Because when you do something like that, your audience will feel enlightened, and also the people who are there, they will also feel, who have invited you, that they have done a good job when they have invited you here. Because see, at the end of the day, it is all about spreading happiness. It is all about spreading positivity. When you do this, you really help people. And that is what you are really doing. And again, the audience would also realize that the person who has come on the stage is really humble. Though he has got so many achievements, but still he's coming here, thanking the people who have invited them. So people would appreciate the fact that you are here. The audience would appreciate it. How many of you agree to this? That you should come across all the time as a really humble person. It is really important for you to come across as a humble person. Because it is very easy, believe me, it is very easy to come across as a proud person or someone who's like arrogant and stuff, but it is really difficult to come across as humble. Do I come across as humble all the time? By the way, please give me your honest answers. This is important for me as well. Thank you. Wow, I have not even got one no. Thank you so much. And this is how I am, okay? I don't pretend myself to be this manner. But yes, I'm good. All right, let's move on to the next slide. The next thing that you can do is share an incident. Everybody has had a long day. Everybody is looking at the session to get over. Or maybe the second thing is that you are there and you are the first speaker. If you are the first speaker, then it is really important for you to set the tone of the session. So to ensure that you have to set the tone of the session, share an incident and tell people about something that happened with you. Maybe yesterday, maybe day before yesterday, maybe 6 months back, which relates to the topic that you have to speak upon. Unless and until it relates to the topic, just don't give them any random story which does not relate with what you have to speak next. Otherwise, your entire effort has gone waste. Whatever incident you are going to narrate with people should be in sync with your topic. You understand that, right? For example, I'm going to speak upon my experiences with Goa. And I would say the first time around when I went to Goa and when I saw that serene beach, that wonderful oozing water coming towards me, and that wonderful sand, and when I lay upon that sand, believe me, it was a fascinating sight. And when we had candlelight dinner sitting over there, it was the best feeling that I've ever had in my entire life. And you will say something like that. Imagine what wonderful an impact you would leave upon the mind of your audience. So that is why sharing an incident is so very important. You getting my point? All right. Should we move on to the next slide now? Give me a yes. Now, this is also very important, an element of surprise. Now, supposedly, you are the 15th speaker, and most of the people have already spoken, okay? And most of the techniques that you have learned, the audience have already seen all those techniques because the speakers have already used up all those techniques. Now, what do you do in such a scenario? Think, what do you have to do in such a scenario? In such a scenario, you have to bring in the element of surprise. Do something which is going to absolutely surprise your audience, which your audience has not just thought can actually happen. When you do something like that, then your audience would be like, okay, this was not at all expected. For example, you go into the audience and you start with the guitar. Now, remember I told you starting with the prop, but that prop has got to do with the topic. With this guitar, you'll start. Everybody would be like, okay, what's coming next? You'll keep the guitar and you'll start speaking upon a topic which is absolutely different. And I'll also tell you what this is known as and how you can use it in every sector. Start with something which is absolutely different now. Now, what you have to do is, this is known as, tell me if you're aware about it, this is known as pattern disruption. This is known as pattern disruption. For example, if my session is based upon public speaking, people would assume that I would speak upon the importance of public speaking. I would narrate a story pertaining to public speaking. What if I get onto the stage and if I start with something which is absolutely different, something which people have not yet experienced before, not yet expected at all? I go onto the stage and I speak about a movie. I tell them about a fascinating experience that I had yesterday. Everybody like, what's happening? Or I just come around with music happening everywhere, a wonderful song is being played, and then I get inside and then I start speaking upon a serious topic. So you know what you are doing is, you are doing a pattern disruption, which means that you are doing something exactly opposite to what has been assumed by the audience that you would be doing. So pattern disruption and surprise element is very important. There's a very famous person on YouTube whom I follow. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk's videos always have a pattern disruption. He starts in a very different manner compared to the kind of value that he's going to give next. So he always keeps his audience on the toes. He always keeps his audience judging and guessing as to what is going to come next. So pattern disruption is also a very important thing, how you can start. And then how to connect with the topic, it's absolutely easy. You don't have to connect this time around with the topic. This time around, you do not have to connect with the topic. You get it? This time around, you will not be connecting with the topic. It is going to be something which is going to be absolutely different. That is why it is going to be an element of surprise and it is going to be pattern disruption. You get it? So that is also an important way. But again, this technique, please try this technique after you have given a lot of speeches or a lot of sessions, or you have tried the other techniques, because this is going to be comparatively difficult. Okay? Good. The next thing that you can do is narrate about a well-known person. Now, let me ask you a question. When you have to narrate about a well-known person, what all difficulties can you face? What all difficulties will you face when you have to speak about a well-known person? I can understand that you are somehow going to connect it with the person, with the topic, the person to the topic. But what all other challenges will you face if you have to speak upon a well-known person? What all challenges will you face in such a scenario? You need to have more and accurate info. Okay. What next? Okay. This is the same point, that we should have the exact amount of information. Facts and positive. Okay. Think, people. There is something else that I want you to answer. Imagine. Inspiration. Okay. What if you speak about a topic who is not, or you speak about a person who is not popular with the audience, what will you do in such a scenario? Agreed. This is what Shikesh has also said. Whether that person is liked by everyone as well. This is really important, because if you speak about a person who is not as popular as you assume him to be, then you can land into trouble, because instead of gaining the attention of the audience, you will automatically be on the negative side. So ensure, first thing, that person should be not, I would say, please don't quote and don't speak about a political person. Think about a visionary who has contributed to the society, or someone who has been like really positive. For example, if you talk about cricket, then if I give you the option, okay, let me give you an option. One, you can give the example of Sachin Tendulkar, and the second, you can give the example of Rahul Dravid. Whom would you choose? Sachin Tendulkar or Rahul Dravid? Whom would you choose? The majority of the people say Sachin. Well, I would say choose Dravid. And that is because Dravid has never been involved in any controversy. Dravid, even, you know what happened when Dravid was coaching the under-19 World Cup team? When that team lost, on Facebook, instead of criticizing Dravid, what was written was, the World Cup does not deserve Rahul Dravid. So you got to be very particular. Sachin is very popular, probably my favorite cricketer as well. But there are certain people who don't like Sachin. But Dravid is someone who comes across as someone very amicable and someone who has not been criticized by a lot of people. So choosing whom you have to speak about is very important. Surprise, right? That is why choosing the role models is essential, but choosing the right role model is more important. You get it? Okay. Now, set the expectations. Set the expectations. What do you understand by this topic? Set the expectations. People who have attended my sessions earlier, and I'm talking about the communication online mastery training, not the live training. I know that some of you are attending the live training for the first time, but all of you have almost attended the earlier sessions. What do you think? Setting the expectations. What is the meaning of setting the expectations? Implement and improve. Okay. What else? Minimum delivery, setting what exactly audience can get out of the session. Okay. Exactly. You have to, in the beginning itself, tell people that these are the objectives, that these are the things that you will be getting once we are complete with the session, so that the audience will realize that, okay, yes, tell the person what the gain they're going to get, because that way you set the expectations and you tell people, by the end of the session, I am going to tell you with this, and this. For example, in today's session, I said, I believe that starting our session is very important on a positive note, that the way we start our session is very important so that we can draw the attention of the audience. And by the end of this presentation, I would have given you so many ways how you can start with your session. You get it? So it's so very essential that you help people and tell them things as to what they are going to get out of this session. It is very, very, very important. You get my point? Okay. So setting the expectations is also very essential when you are starting with the session. The next thing that you can do is refer to a common problem. Refer to a common problem. You know the demographics of your audience. You know their age group. You know what work they do. You know what industry they are in. You know the kind of things that they're doing in their life. So what you can do is identify a common problem that everybody would be facing. Now, when you say that, automatically you'll be triggering the pain point of the audience. You'll be triggering the pain point of the audience. So when you will trigger the pain point of the audience, and then the next thing that you would do is you would provide them with a viable solution. You would provide them with a logical solution to that problem, because when you will provide them with a viable or a logical solution to that problem, they would be on your side. You get that? You understand how important this is. You understand how this works. You give them a problem and then you give them the solution. When you do that, automatically the audience would be on your side. All these ways, once you implement, you're going to do an amazing job and you will have the audience on your side automatically. You get it? Okay. And just like I told you that if you will be with me I will have more value. So the 21st way of how you can start your session is, this is amazing, right? Start with a thunder clap. This is what I tend to do most of the times when I'm addressing huge audiences. I go running onto the stage. Fitness is important. That is why you cannot run onto the stage with your bulging bellies. So all my team members who are having their bulging bellies, right? Yes, you got to ensure that you become fit, okay? So go running onto the stage and start with a thunder applause, okay? Start clapping. Look at your audience and clap vigorously. Give them a thunder applause, because when you give them a thunder applause, you will realize that everybody's energy and everybody's excitement has gone up. Everybody is appreciating it. Everybody is clapping with you. You automatically draw the attention of the audience. When you do all these things, you'll realize that you have been doing and you are doing a fascinating job. You're doing a wonderful job. And automatically the entire attention of the audience would be with you. Their attention could have been anywhere. But when you do that, your attention, the attention of the audience will automatically be just focused upon one person. And that one person is you, my dear friend. What we'll do is, I'll just do a recall of all the 21 points that I have shared with you. And then I'll make the house open for your questions, okay? First thing, how you can start your session is, start with an anecdote or a story. When you start with an anecdote or a story, because we have been primarily story listeners, we will be, as an audience, be by the side of the speaker. Start with a quotation, a powerful quotation, a meaningful quotation, an inspiring quotation, so that, and obviously it should be related with the speech that you have to give or the talk that you have to give, so that the audience is by your side. Compliment your audience. Tell them that they are an amazing audience, even if you have an audience of one. Okay? Especially if you have gone for a date or you're talking to your wife in a bad mood, compliment her. Oh, you're looking so pretty today. Half her anger diminishes, So that's important. Then give reference to a date. Supposedly you're doing a session today. Today is 19th of June. Tell them about something which had happened on 19th of June in that particular year, and people would realize, okay, and you would again have the audience vouching for you. Give them facts and figures. Give them facts and figures pertaining to the topic that you're about to say. I gave you the example of India as the third most diabetic country, or the water levels, the drinking water levels are shrinking in this world, or the dump that we are wasting in seas or oceans is increasing by the day. Give them facts, give them numbers, make them do an activity. Maybe make them clap, just like I told you right now. Make them stand on the stage, make them clap about like one finger clap, two finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger clap. Tell them to give massages. Tell them to laugh at the top of their voices. Make them do any activity so that they're out of the boredom and you are having the audience by your side. Ask a question, but ensure that that question's answer is not really long. Otherwise, everybody's focus would go. Start with a long pause. When you start with a long pause, a 15-second pause, you will draw the attention of the audience towards your side. And they would be enticed, surprised, and waiting about what is going to come next in anticipation. Start with a prop, a water bottle, a cap, a hat, a phone, whatever you find would be in sync with your speech. Start with that kind of a prop, okay? Speak about yourself. And just don't speak about your negative aspects only, include positive also. And again, the vice versa. Just don't speak about your positive aspects only. The audience should feel that you are one of their own. That is why it is essential that you speak about yourself as well. Tell them about the latest news, something that has happened very recently, because they would have also read about it, right? So when you tell them about the latest news and that is in sync with the topic, your audience will be by your side because they will relate to what you are speaking. Make them visualize, make them imagine what they want to do. Because when you make them visualize and imagine, they would not just be imagining about what good things are going to happen in their life, they would also get into that happy and joyous zone. And that is going to create the difference between your speech and the speeches of others, between your talk and how they interact with others. Start with a joke, make them laugh. Laughter is the best way of getting into the people's heart and mind. So start with a joke. Share a statistic with them, a revealing statistic, an important statistic, a statistic which is going to create an entire picture in front of them. Share a statistic like that, okay? Give a thank you note to the organizers. You would come across as a really humble person, and the organizers would also feel happy that they have invited you. Share an incident which has happened with you recently, which is pertaining to the topic that you are going to speak upon. Bring in the element of surprise. That is why I said pattern disrupt. Do something absolutely different and opposite to what the audience would be expecting you to do. Narrate about a well-known person and ensure that that well-known person is positively and highly regarded by majority of the people whom you are addressing to. That is really important. Maybe someone like a Mother Teresa. Nobody would have any ill feelings about her, right? Set the expectations of the session as to what they're going to get once the session gets over. Set the expectations to that and refer to a common problem, because then you are triggering a pain point, and then give them the solution to that pain point. And then you'll realize that the audience is by your side. And the final tip is start with a thunderous applause. Go running into the audience, create an impact, make them shout, make them clap loudly, show them your excitement, show them your energy, and the audience will be by your side. Okay. The next live training that we would be doing, it is going to be on the 3rd of July, and the topic is non-verbal communication. Your eye contact, your body language, your posture, your facial expressions, your tone, your pitch, the way you cover the stage, all these things will be covered in the next presentation when we are going to do the next session. Okay. All right. Now, people, again, answer me. Let me know what all topics do you have on your mind. What all questions do you have on your mind? Okay, people say amazing session. People say tips. Okay. I'm getting a lot of questions. We're having some difficult questions today. No problem. I like these challenges coming my way. Okay. So people say very beneficial. Thank you so much. When you implement all those things, then it is going to be beneficial. Today, it's just okay. Wow, there are so many questions coming my way today. Okay. So someone says tips for college presentations. See, Dipanshi, in the college presentations also, you have to start in the same tone. You have to start with the same manner. When you start in the same manner, it is going to be important, right? So you have to start with the same manner that I have told you, because these techniques work for every scenario. Okay. Jagdish asks me, while using pattern disruption, how to get into the topic. Jagdish, see, when you do pattern disruption, it is not important for you to just relate it with the topic. When you do pattern disruption, that is to have the attention of the audience. So once you have grabbed the attention of the audience, you can say, now that I have the attention of each and every one of you, let's focus upon the topic that we have to speak upon right now. You get it? That is how pattern disruption is important. Let's talk about fitness. You get into that, move in with the guitar, go in there, start with the thunderous round of applause, maybe wear an amazing t-shirt like I was wearing. Look at my t-shirt, people. The last clean t-shirt that I had. Okay? And believe me, even this is not clean. And do it if you're addressing young audience. And then tell them, okay, let's keep this apart. Now that I have the attention of each and every one of you, let's focus upon the topic, which is fitness. Okay. Promoting my business. See, just let me know more about promoting your business, how I can help you with that. How to know something about content writer. So there are a lot of websites that will tell you about content writers. There are a lot of pages that will tell you about content writers. Once you use content writing for your website or your business, like I have a lot of articles that are on my website. So I create the leverage on the mind of people once people read those articles. So it is really important. That is one way how you can start. Okay. The other question is how not to get stuck in between the speech. If you get stuck in between the topic, then you can include some personal examples. This I've already told you. Once you include a personal examples, you will get time to think upon what you have to speak next. You get it? So it is really essential that you just give a personal example. And even if you have got stuck, it does not matter. Everybody has got stuck. I have got stuck. Just continue. Okay? How to start only in front of 2 teachers. Just go there, give your presentation, tell them, even if the audience is 1 or the audience is 2, all these statistics and all these things will work irrespective of the size of the audience. Okay? Okay. Any other questions that you have? Okay, so I got a compliment which I would like to share with everybody, and it is that it is my first session, and I have many doubts before enrolling for your session. But right now, after attending first live session, I have one faith come in me that yes, I will become a good speaker and get rid of my hesitation. I'm really happy that that is the case, Ravindran. That is what we do here. We are keen to provide you with utmost value, and believe me, once you'll go through the earlier trainings as well, you will realize that a lot of value is being provided to you. And this is just one session. There are going to be so many other sessions that are going to come your way. Okay. Okay. So Rohitash asks me, give all list of activity to activate the audience. And Hemendra says, I really enjoy your sessions. The energy in you motivates me. Thank you so much. I absolutely love your energy. Okay. Wow, I've got so many compliments coming my way. Taking the screenshots. So some of you people would be there on our Facebook group today with your names. Okay, so the activity that you can do to active your audiences: first, make them clap. Second, massages. Third, dance. Fourth, some fitness related activity. I'm also writing these down at the same time, okay, so that you people can remember this for a long period of time. Thank God, the electricity had gone since the past so many minutes. Now it's back. Jagdish also says the right thing. Jagdish, you're so intelligent, man. Really proud to have you in my team. Breathing exercises, just like Jagdish has said. Then you can make them make groups. And once you make groups, you will ensure that once you have made groups, then make them do an activity, team activity. How many have we already listed? First was clap, second was massages, third was dance, fourth was fitness related activity, fifth is breathing exercises, sixth is group activity. Okay, let's do 4 more. Let's have some suggestions from your side as well. Something that I have not yet covered, okay? What else can you make your audience do? You can make your audience, just like I said, visualize. You can make your audience shout at the top of their voice. You can make your audience laugh. Absolutely right, Shrikesh. This can also be done. Okay, so 2 people said laugh, right? And I would also like to have your feedback upon, just write it down about how you like today's session. It is very important for me. So you get the laughter, you get them to laugh, you get them to visualize, you get them to shout, you get them to do team activity, you get them to do breathing exercises, you get them to do fitness related activity, dance, massages, clap. And people, the one thing that I don't know whether you have realized this by now or not, the one thing which you people have to realize is that we are here as a team, right? And together everyone achieves more. Together everybody achieves more. And that is why we have to be here and contribute as a team, because once we contribute as a team, that is how we grow in life. So it is very important to contribute and work in a team to bring about the positive impact that you want to bring about. So in case you have got any question, type in your questions on the Facebook group as well, so that people can answer your questions even there. Okay. Right. So any other question that you have on your mind? See, one thing which your audience wants from your side is enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm has to be there. When you feel that I am so enthusiastic about how I conclude, how I start, how I am in the middle, every time during my session, I am really enthusiastic. And that is the key for every session. Unless and until you come across as enthusiastic, the people are not going to actually realize your importance. People will feel, okay, he's just coming here to do some sort of a duty. When I do my session, I do it with so much of intensity. I do it with so much of passion, because that is really important for you to be successful. Your intensity, your passion, your energy, all these things combined together are going to make you win in life. You get that? That is why it is so very important for you to be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is the key. Your energy is the key. because it is very important, right? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So your focus should be upon being enthusiastic. Your focus should be upon providing value. Whenever you do a session, ensure that you are giving a lot of value to people, because when you give value to people, they keep that value with them, they implement all those values, and then they win in life. How many of you understand this? Give me a yes. And how many of you are committed to do your work with enthusiasm? Because when you do your work with enthusiasm, it is very important, okay? Enthusiasm is the key of becoming successful. And there are so many of you who come to attend these sessions on a regular basis. Believe me, you are the ones who are going to get maximum out of them. If your audience is just, okay. Shrikesh, I'm really happy that you liked today's session, and this feedback really matters a lot. And I guess you just enrolled right before the session today, and really happy that you did it. And believe me, this was just like I said, the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be so much of more value which is going to come your way. That is how I am. See, I just know one thing, that I have to create success stories out of you people. The only thing which is going to prevent us from creating success stories is you. If you people put in the efforts, if you people work with the same kind of intensity, if you people do what is expected out of you, there's going to be nothing which is going to prevent you from becoming successful. You just have to attend the sessions and implement things. And that is all that I want from your side. That is the only commitment that I want from your side. The next session that we would be doing, I've already told you, the next session is going to be on the 3rd of July, and it is going to be on the non-verbal part, non-verbal communication, okay? It is so important how you appear in front of people, how your hand gestures should be. It should not be in this manner, it should be in this manner. You should always be in a giving mode to people rather than a taking mode to people. All these things combined together create a powerful speaker, create a powerful image of yours. So it is very important and essential for you that your non-verbal communication should be in sync. So I want you to do a few things, okay? Watch all the live trainings before you come for the next session, unless and until you have not done that already. If you have done that already, okay, do a recap. Watch all the 4 live trainings before you come for the 5th live training. Implement the things that I have told you in the first 4 live trainings, including this one, and then come for the 5th live training. You know, the only reason why we do live trainings after a gap of 14 days is because you get time to implement all those 14, in those 14 days, you get the time to implement whatever has been told to you. So it's absolutely essential for you to implement whatever has been told to you. People, do I have a commitment from your side that before coming to the next session, you will implement at least some part of what has been told to you already? Give me a yes. Give me a yes to that. Good. Because when you implement things, that is how we bring about a change in our lives. Okay? Okay. Hemendra says a big yes. Thank you. And one more thing that I want you to do is just go see my Instagram channel. I have done a lot of good things there. I guess some of you are not yet connected with me on YouTube. I'm sharing the YouTube link with you. Connect with me over YouTube. You are not connected with me over LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn as well by my name, Rahul Bhatnagar. Go connect with me there as well, because I share a lot of valuable content there too. So it's really important for you to connect there too. Okay? So connect at all those places, and it was really wonderful interacting with each and every one of you, just like it always is. Some of you joined in late today. The session would be uploaded. I guess I'll try doing it by tomorrow, but tomorrow, okay, one more good news, because some of you joined in late. Tomorrow I'm doing a session for 1,000 students live on the internet. 1,000 students of KIIT, which is the biggest college of Bhubaneswar. So their placements are really near. So I'm going to train them upon their placements, help them with their placements. So if you have any doubt even today that an online session, believe me, an online session helps. An online session works for you. You don't have to travel anywhere. And this is what I'm going to prove to the entire world, okay? And all these 1,000 students of KIIT, I'm going to share with you in September their success stories. In September, their placements would be happening. So I would be sharing with you their success stories when I get them placed in so many wonderful companies. Okay? In September, we'll be having those sessions for them, those placements for them. And you know, they just asked me to do 1,000 for those 1,000 students. They just asked me to do 1 session and then 2 more sessions in the coming 2 months. I told them whatever amount I'm charging them, Give me the same amount of money. Give me the same amount of money. But instead of 2, I will do 6 live sessions for your students, because it is always about in life and in work. This is what you should always do. Under promise and over delivery. When you do under promise and over delivery, believe me, all the people who are a part of your team will always stay with you, and all of them will grow over a period of time. This is what you have to do. And this is what I repeat. Give people value, 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 and more value. And you will become successful because you will be also working upon the values of yourself, upon your knowledge, and you would also be providing value to the audience as well. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and it was really wonderful having each and every one of you. I'll be working today, and I'll be working upon my content, and then we'll ensure that from the next session onwards, you have implemented all these things. So it was really wonderful having all of you, and I believe that you had wonderful time today. I believe that you will implement all those things. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Have a good night and implement things, okay? Have a good time. Bye-bye. Take care.